Hi, my name's David Heineman. This is my second speech titled, Why Are Lumber Prices So High? The past 2 years, as we all know, have been very hard on everyone, mainly coming from the global pandemic. Along with many people losing their jobs and struggling financially, prices for things such as gas and lumber skyrocketed, leaving many people to wonder why this is happening and how long is this going to last. Being a part-time worker for a lumber company has given me an up-close and personal experience of what exactly goes on behind the scenes, but this planted the question that everyone else is asking. My job helped me decide that the issue needed to be addressed and people need to be informed. This problem can affect anyone during this time, that's why this is so important. In this speech, I'm going to give a few different financial explanations as to why the prices of lumber are jumping up. The first reason is the short-run dynamics of demand and supply. What exactly is this, though? The short run is a concept that states that within a certain period in the future, at least one input is fixed while others are variable. The short run does not refer to a specific duration of time, but rather is unique to the firm, industry, or economic variable being studied. A decrease in demand creates a short-run equilibrium where existing short-run supply equals demand with a fall in price and output. If the price fall is large enough to average variable cost, some firms shut down. Then as firms exit, supply contracts, prices rise, and quantity contracts further. The underlying reason for this pattern is that supply and demand are often inelastic in the short run, so that shifts in either demand or supply can cause relatively greater change in prices. Secondly, the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, many people were stuck at home for weeks or even months at a time. Because of this, wood demand shot up in the summer of the pandemic. Many Americans had a lot more free time on their hands and had some extra money and decided that maybe they would head to the local building supplies dealer for the materials to build decks, playhouses, she sheds, and even additional rooms. With all these people desired to do projects now, this obviously created more demand for wood, but on the other hand, U.S. timber producing regions, the South and Pacific Coast, that provide most of the wood products, encountered production slowdowns and curtailments due to the virus, impact on workers, supply chain disruptions, and general confusion. Lumber shipments from Canada declined due to the limited timber supply and reduced milling capacity in British Columbia, which contributed to U.S. wood product shortages. A record-breaking price spike was the result of all this. Specifically, the Random Lengths Framing Lumber Composite Price Index increased nearly 150% from the beginning of 2020 to a record high in September, when it started to slowly decline before going even higher in early 2021. The final reason is cheap mortgages. This era of cheap mortgages mainly came from all interest rates dropped in the early days of the pandemic, and eventually a 30-year fixed rate mortgage dropped under 3%, hitting all-time record lows. Because of this, low mortgage rate, more buyers were brought into the single-family real estate market. More buyers means more construction and lumber to be bought and supplied by mills, but because of the pandemic previously talked about, a lot of these companies struggled to find workers and keep workers, whether it was from pay or COVID. All of these reasons combined lead to a massive spike in lumber prices over the past couple of years and bring us where we are today. In conclusion, things like the pandemic, cheap mortgages, and short-run supply and demand led to an increase in the overall price of lumber. Although there is always another reason, these are believed to be the strongest and most influential. This price increase has affected many Americans and possibly some students and their families. Hopefully soon, these prices will return to normal, and more importantly, so will our lives.